أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه المنتجبين. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to you. I thank Allah for His rahmah upon us, day after day, night after night, to enable us to wake up to the purpose for which He has created this existence. And that purpose is the meaning behind life. If we drive along that road, we will live well, we will depart well, and we will always see the goodness behind whatever happens. Otherwise, we will be constantly confused and constantly accusing events or luck or other people for what we perceive as being misfortune. Allah wants us to be in this world inwardly tranquil, content, outwardly to do whatever we can to bring about balance between the body, mind, soul, inner, outer, and all of the ever exchanging opposites. The outer world is hanging on the opposites like a pendulum, moving from good to bad, day and night, acceptable, unacceptable, health, illness, life, death, and. And we need referencing all the time to our inner, so that we maintain that equanimity, balance, and what we all aspire for, which is contentment. We are looking for contentment in the outer world, but its meaning, its root, its source is in our heart. So this is the way we drive back, we yearn back, we move back towards Allah Azza wa Jal. This evening I want to share with you very briefly an overview of the Quranic worldview. I want to share with you how easy is the approach to Quran is, and how accessible is the Quran. But it takes certain rules and certain courtesy to that approach. And that rule or courtesy implies a certain measure of faith that this life is not being experienced in a haphazard, discordant way. There is an order and a rule in every facet of existence. When you want to go to sleep, the rule is that you are relaxed, you are calm, you prepare yourself to dislodge your consciousness from the worldly interaction and enter into another zone. The same rule applies when you approach your salat. Disconnect with this world and its demands upon you, and enter into another zone of consciousness, which leads you to other higher and subtler zones of inner consciousnesses. So the Quran too demands from us the right approach, and that is to be thoughtless, to be clear at heart, to come to it with total modesty and with utter humility and faith and trust that you will come to know more and more from the unseen so that you can deal with the world outside more appropriately. The Quran covers practically all aspects of patterns and designs that are in this existence and beyond. So it covers the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the creational story, how it all began, where it is going, where will it end, and the position of human beings in this world, and how the seen and the unseen interact, and also has considerable wisdom and lessons that we need to discern through our reasoning capacity, through our aql, which is the intellect. In Arabic, we don't have an equivalent of mind. The best word for that is khayal. It is the faculty of imagining things or recalling things to do with the mental memory. The question of semantics and language is very important. At the time the Quran descended from the unseen for us to fathom, to dive into, to internalize, to interact with, such a complete revealed knowledge, at that time the people's mental attitude, linguistic abilities were very different to what we have now. We're far more specific nowadays. We have been trained in the last decades in order for us to be far more, if you like, intellectually inclined and more specialized. Whereas earlier on, people could understand from a sentence what it meant behind, what it meant before, and in between it. They were far more sensitive to the unseen. 200-300 years ago, people talked about angels as though they were talking about their neighbors. We don't nowadays. We have become highly trained in the physical and material world, and less able to recall the unseen, which is embedded in our soul, which is our ruh, which dwells in our heart. The language of the Quran, in terms of some of these terminologies, such as nafs, which is generally translated as self, it sometimes in the Quran it means the ruh, some other times it means qalb, some other times it actually means aql. So generally nafs means self, but the self contains all of these aspects. Your ruh is in yourself, your aql is in yourself, aql is your intellect, is in yourself. So it is important for those of you who are serious to use a terminology that gives you that reliable, if you like, unraveling of the ayahs. So the word ruh is soul, that unseen energy source in you that has come to you from birth and is with you until you leave this world and is the cause of your journey into the next. So it is your ruh that has within it all the story of existence. It says in the Quran, and they ask you about the ruh, say it is from the command of my Lord. That means it is beyond our mind or our intellect to comprehend it. It is an entity that has within it all the patterns of the seen and the unseen. Therefore it is difficult to define, same way as you cannot define God. Allah Azza wa Jal defines us. How can we, in our limited created mind, have a full understanding of He who has created it? It is for that reason the Prophet's teaching is, do not discuss Allah Azza wa Jal, discuss His attributes, His glorious virtues, the aspects of what we admire and what we praise. Alhamdulillah, all praise, the praise belongs to Allah. Whatever we praise, all the qualities of generosity, love, healing power, wealth, foreverness, everything that you and I and every other human being desire is ultimately an aspect of Allah's quality. So this issue of how can we decipher the Quran rests a lot on our understanding the language. And we mustn't assume because we speak Arabic or we have read the Quran that we have got it all. The truth is that it has got us. The word Quran comes from the Arabic word of qara'a yaqra'u, is to gather, collect, put together. Also it means to read, iqra, it's related to that as well. But it means the comprehensive uncovering of the divine reason, intention behind existence. So it is essentially a blueprint or a map that contains everything that we want to know. I have selected for you tonight a number of ayahs from the Quran across the board to share with you a glimpse of what this incredible gift of Allah Azza wa Jal upon us and upon all human beings contains. But like all treasures, you must get it, you must earn it, you must take it upon you. You can't just have a superficial relationship with it. It is like a spiritual diet. What is the use of discussing a diet and if you are not going to absorb it, internalize it, and use it to be re-energized? So Allah Azza wa Jal tells us, إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ. Certainly it's a most generous Quran in a closed or guarded or locked up book, implying that like any other book of higher knowledge or even philosophy, you can take the superficial meaning or you can really truly absorb it, internalize it, and not only be informed by it, but actually be transformed by it. As you all know, we are people who seek knowledge. Every one of us wants to know. We don't want not to know. We are programmed desiring to know so that we can prepare ourselves not to have shocks and jolts and disappointments. We want to know, what are we doing, where are we going, what is the city like, what is the town like. Also Allah Azza wa Jal reminds us, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Certainly that is the book. There is no doubt in it for those who are in taqwa. Taqwa means cautious, traveling, wanting to arrive. Cautious in every aspect of your thinking, of your walking, of your sitting, of your desires, of your objectives. Muttaqi is a person who is responsible, who acts responsibly, who wants the best. Now, what are Allah's qualities? He again describes it in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu al-qayyum. La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. We human beings may share some of the qualities of Allah Azza wa Jal, but we cannot do without sleep. Immediately Allah reminds us that He is forever present, all the time, everywhere. لا تأخذه سنة. Nawm is sleep. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. And to Him belongs whatever is in the heavens and earth. So if to Him belongs everything in heavens and earth, why are we clamoring so much to accumulate and possess until we get sick with possession and being obsessed with possessions? take what we need and move on as a guest of Allah, as a guest of honor. When we go to Hajj, most of the people sing also that they are guests of Allah. Why not guests of Allah every day, every moment, when you are here, when you are not here? We are all indeed guests, because none of us have designed or even know the design of what this existence is about. We will only be given that which we need to know at the time we need to know, if we are living our Iman fully. Then you are truly Abdul Waqt, the slave of the moment. You don't have baggage, information overload. You just know that what you need will come to you. So there isn't this overstress that most of us suffer from. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. We have shared this ayah a few nights ago. Allah is the light behind all lights. Allah is the light within all lights. Allah is the light seen and the unseen. All of seen existences are essentially modified light. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى, and to Him belongs all the beautiful attributes and names. And then again Allah reminds us of His quality, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ, and my mercy encompasses every existence, everything. Which means, if ever you are angry or you're cursing the event that has happened, but the event that has happened was allowed by Allah to happen. So watch out. Who are you cursing? What are you angry with? Indeed, anger is an expression of, simply to begin with, ignorance. So you are declaring your ignorance. Because I expected him to do something at that time and he was not capable, and he didn't do it, so I'm angry with him, instead of being angry with myself for not realizing that this fellow is incompetent, or hasn't got a watch, or didn't want to do it, or whatever. So watch out about not seeing Allah's rahmah in every situation. See His rahmah when you have failed. See His rahmah when you have tripped because you were in a hurry. If you have not tripped and had a bit of a small accident, you will have a bigger accident. And see His rahmah in every situation, and do your best to deal with the situation at the same time. These are the indirect ways of understanding the ayahs. Otherwise we just read them by tongue and we move from one surah to another, and we think we have done such a good work by having khatam of Quran. It's more and more. It is not a bad thing even to do that, but it's better if you understand it, even better if you internalize it, and better of all if you are transformed by it. Then what are Allah's ways and designs in this existence? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Tabaraka alladhi biyadihi al-mulk wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir alladhi khalaqa al-mawta wal-hayata liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amala. Blessed be, glory be to He who has created this existence, and He has all the capabilities. Qudra. Allah is the Qadir. You and I have a little qudra occasionally, sometimes, and often inefficiently, because huwa al-Hakim, He has the hikmah, He has the expertise. You and I try to get a bit of expertise to cheat few other people to make a miserable living, or something like that, or a semblance of a living. So it says, blessed He who has created everything, and He has brought in death and life. And the Quran is very clear on this, that death precedes life, implying that this experience in this world is only in our illusion, in our minds. In truth, there is no such thing other than the eternal light of Allah. And that is the true inner meaning of La ilaha illallah. In order for that to be known, then Muhammad Rasulullah. So He created the Adamic being and the perfect being, the prophetic profile. So Allah Azza wa Jal again reminds us that His ways is أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do you think people will be allowed to even say that I am a mu'min and they will not be tested and afflicted? All of us are within this ayah. How many times you and I have expressed our unhappiness, our disappointment, if you like. Where is then again Allah's rahmah in that? So Allah says you will be tested, afflicted. Again, Arabic is very important. Fitna is to show what is our origin. This word until not long ago, until a few decades ago, only meant testing gold coins. It used to be called dinarun maftoon. When the dinar, which was a golden coin, was tested to make sure that it is 100% gold or whatever was the caratage of it, that it has been tested. So fitna does not mean trouble and affliction. It means to be tested to see its origin. So who is you? Who are you? What is your origin? What is my origin? Our origin is light. It is the ruh that is in us. So what is in a way rubbing us is the outer. So you and I are going to be rubbed in the world outside, in our mind. That's why people who are mindless have no responsibility. Part of the Sharia aspect is that if you are not full in your aql, most of the Sharia aspects of Salat, Sawm, all of the ibadats are not applicable to you. Because you don't have your mind, you see. That is why also a stroke or things like that come about when you have been overusing, overindulging, overcharging, overheating your mind. So you get a fuse, so to speak. Yeah. So mind is an important instrument to deal with this world, but only in a worldly sense. What is missing is the development of the heart. That is very much the disease of the age. We have got huge capability of causality and mind, and very little access to the light or the nur or the soul within our hearts. So Allah says, do you think you'll ever be left unpolished, unfinished? So that you realize that this world is an outer arena for us to interact with as samples of what will come after we depart. The beautiful gardens you and I attempt to create in this world, and the occasional hell that we are subjected to in this world, are samples